revolutionized polio care. Hello, Harvard class of 1985. I'm Dr. Diane Smith. I'm so honored to be a guest speaker here at your esteemed university, and I'm excited to share with you about the ICU, or Intensive Care Unit, and about how important it is for medical treatments globally. However, in order to understand how the ICU became a method of treatment, I must first tell you the story of a machine so revolutionary. It triggered a massive political program, inspired social movements, and led to an entirely type of new medical care still used to this day. I'm talking, of course, about the iron lung. Now, the iron lung wasn't solely born of a reaction to the polio virus. Its creation was a journey. Its growth in popularity came from surprising reactions, and the result triggered a medical reform. So, let's go back in time to 1926. Right here at Harvard University, let's start with the studies of Professor Philip Drinker. Dr. Shaw, I have a new development to share. The Consolidated Gas Company and the Electric Company from New York have given us funds to go towards our research in artificial resuscitation. I believe we can use my research regarding negative pressure for this project. Since taking air out of a sealed box creates a negative vacuum, pulling outside air inwards, switching to positive pressure, in turn, causes all that to be pushed back out. I believe we can use this to manipulate the diaphragm into breathing. So, let's get to work. Months of research have led up to this. All right, I have the cat here. Now that the paralysis has taken effect, what do you say, Dr. Shaw? It works! The first machine ever to breathe for a fully paralyzed creature. Oh, think about it. For hundreds of years, inventors and doctors alike have tried their luck at creating a machine such as this, but we're the ones who have done it. This is truly a revolutionary machine right here. I'll consult with the gas company, then I'll go to the tinsmith to get us a box big enough for a man. I shall also apply for patents to protect our technology. Soon, our respirator will be complete and functional. The Boston Children's Hospital knew about our machine and how well it had done while testing, so they urged us to treat a girl, aged 8 years, who was diagnosed 1 day earlier with poliomyelitis. She was placed inside our respirator and regained healthy color almost immediately. In her own words, she could breathe bigger in the tank than outside it. Though she sadly passed away, her death was believed to be due to cardiac failure. Examination of the lungs of the patient after death did not show any evidence of trauma due to overinflation. So it works. The machine maintained a patient for a full 122 hours without discomfort or apparent harm. Though I am deeply saddened at the girl's passing, I do realize that this changes everything. Potential for treating polio patients is limitless now that our respirator is proven to work. And of course, Mr. Drinker was right. Care for polio patients was completely reformed, and the survival rate for polio victims was at an all-time high. Though, many would argue that John H. Emerson was to credit for the widespread success of the iron lung, since his improvements in design caused it to be far more suitable for both patients and hospitals. Emerson released his version in 1931, though not without objection. You see, Emerson got various reactions to his iron lung. Not everyone supported its manufacture. Arguably the most surprising reaction, and the one which caused the most growth for the iron lung, was the main source of Emerson's opposition, and it came from Drinker himself. I am quite frustrated that Emerson copied my work. Yes, at first he sought my approval, but I plainly told him that I was not interested in changing my respirator. Yet still, Emerson consciously violated the law, and therefore should not be allowed to build his version. I am well aware that he is selling cheaper versions of my respirator, and that he claims to stand for the general welfare of society. This may very well be his true motivation. It simply isn't right. The only way to uphold justice, since he refuses to back down, is to sue him. Surely the law will side with me. After all, I legally obtained 3 patents for my invention. So, we go to court. Well, that's it then. All of my patents have been ruled invalid solely because the idea for a respirator had been tampered with for decades. darn machine's just a thing that happened. If I had never been in the lab that day, they never would have been invented. Ever since I visited that children's hospital, hope sparked for polio victims. But my machine can't even prevent the dreaded disease. It only treats it. And it's not as though every child placed in the iron lung miraculously recovers. Some may be paralyzed for life. Others, who are lucky to regain strength, do so over the course of years. I'll just move on then. The iron lung is out of my hands now. I'm so grateful to both of those inventors for bringing iron lungs into hospitals everywhere. You know, without both their efforts, I would have lost my girl. Truly, I'm so blessed to still have sweet Diane, but seeing as she's paralyzed, I must tell you that we can't stay here. You've heard about Warm Springs, down in Georgia, yes? FDR has made it the best recovery center in the country. So many polio survivors are given treatments there that are life-changing, and I dare say Diane may learn to walk again. So farewell, dear sister. I shall write to you often. Diane has been so happy here at Warm Springs. There's all sorts of interesting things for her to do. There's even a pool here. Her improvement may be slow, but it is unmistakable. Now that she's able to walk with crutches, the doctors predict she will fully recover the use of her legs one day. And of course, much of Diane's recovery is credited to you, not just for always writing, but for your contributions to the March of Dimes. Did you hear Eleanor Roosevelt wonderful speech over the radio? Her husband wrote it, and though he must be so busy with the war efforts, the speech was incredibly empowering. It is truly amazing to see so many Americans coming together to support the children of our nation. One dime, $1 at a time. FDR did well to organize such a wonderful program for those who are in need of support. Because of this, every day Diane gets stronger and more curious too. As she was being treated in the iron lung, she grew fascinated with the machine. And this fascination has grown. When I visit, I can hardly keep up with all of her questions. She, though still so young, is asking all about the inventors, Drinker and Shaw, even Emerson. You see, though Drinker doesn't think too highly of his own invention, I would disagree. The iron lung completely revolutionized polio care, and his own bland reaction can't change its impact. Yes, I'm only one parent of one patient that his respirator saved. The impact is strong. Diane already shows a profound interest in the machines and believes that we're on the brink of a reform in the medical industry, especially since funds from the March of Dimes have been going towards developing Salk's polio vaccine. In a few short years, it may very well be in use. So, there you have it. I hope this letter finds you well. Thank you always for your gracious support. The future, indeed, seems bright. And so, because of my mother's persistence and dedication, that young girl grew into a fine pulmonologist, and as you see, I absolutely love teaching the next generation about the importance of ICUs and how they were brought about by a machine that, although no longer commonly used, still revolutionized respiratory care and hospitals everywhere. You know, ICUs aren't even limited for just respiratory needs. They're used for assisting struggling newborns all the way to those recovering from surgery. Truly, the revolutionary iron lung, through its journey of varying reactions, completely reformed the medical industry, where ICUs continue to save lives daily. I ask you, what would our world look like had the machine not managed to manufacture breath? Thank you.